we should trust Dad.
Alright, these are my 2 note cards.
Woohoo!
Picture this. You're a D1 athlete about to play in your final championship game. As an athlete, you want to do everything in your power to play your best, and in order to do that, you must prepare accordingly. Many professional athletes meet with trainers in order to help them in their athletic career, and their diet's no different. Meeting with a dietitian is as crucial as a trainer. Now today I'm going to cover just a few nutrition guidelines from both the USADA's nutrition guideline paper written in 2024, as well as Jennifer Doane's sports nutrition topics paper written in 2016. So first I'm going to cover an athlete's fluid intake. Fluids are crucial to an athlete's diet because we don't want them to become dehydrated. Athletes lose water through their skin, through sweat, as well as through the lungs when exercising. They should also be monitoring their electrolyte and sodium intake as well. This will help them maintain and restore their plasma volume, as well as retaining water in order to not become dehydrated. Dehydration can cause exhaustion, a decreased amount of blood pumped to the heart, as well as less oxygen being pumped to the muscles. Now, the USADA's nutrition guidelines states that athletes should consume anywhere from 7 to 12 ounces of cold fluids 15 to 20 minutes before exercise. They also say that 4 to 8 ounces of cold fluids should be consumed during exercise at about 15 to 20 minute intervals. On the other hand, Jennifer Doane's Advantage Nutrition and Wellness paper written in 2016 states that athletes should consume around 16 to 24 ounces of fluids within the 2-hour time period before exercise occurs. She also states that during exercise, an athlete should consume around 6 to 12 ounces of fluids at about 10 to 20 minute intervals. She also states that athletes may not necessarily feel this thirsty, but they should drink beyond their thirst level. Lastly, she suggests that athletes weigh themselves both before and after exercise, because for every 1 pound that's lost, it should be replenished with about 16 to 24 ounces of fluids in the 2 to 6 hour time period post-workout. With this being said, I do acknowledge that these 2 fluid intake guidelines vary slightly, but the main goal here is for athletes to be fully hydrated before, during, and after exercise. The next topic we're going to cover is an athlete's carbohydrate intake. Carbs are crucial to an athlete because they supply them with energy. Extra stores of carbohydrates found in both the muscles and the liver, called glycogen, help with an athlete's endurance as well as their higher intensity performance. This is why it's necessary for athletes to replenish their carbs before and during exercise. The USADA's guideline paper stated that pre-exercise meals serve 2 main purposes. One is for the athlete to not become hungry during their exercise, and the second is for athletes to have optimal amount of energy to their muscles. They also state that these meals should be easily digestible and shouldn't contain any greasy foods. These meals should be consumed around 3 to 4 hours before exercise occurs. Now, the USADA guideline states that athletes should be consuming anywhere from 3 to 4 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight. So, for example, if an athlete's working out for around an hour, they should be consuming around 5 grams of carbohydrates. Now, if an athlete were to have a meal maybe a few hours before exercise occurs, they should only contain about 1 to 2 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight in order to avoid any stomach upset from our athlete. Now, like I said at the beginning of my speech, these are only a few nutritional guidelines that an athlete should be following. In conclusion, there are many different nutritional guidelines that an athlete should take account for in order to perform to their best ability. But by simply looking at their fluid and carbohydrate intake, it can help tremendously in their performance. But what if you're not an athlete? It's still recommended to watch your carbohydrate, fluid intake, and overall nutrition intake in order to perform and feel your best. Now, it's a crucial component for athletes to watch their nutrition because it'll help with their level of play, their endurance, as well as their overall health.